What's going on, everybody? It's Chris with Pro Photo, and this is Geared Up. This is our weekly live broadcast where we talk about gear, techniques, lighting, photography. We just try to have a lot of fun, learn some cool things, talk about gear, and take your questions. So if you have anything you want to ask, hit us up, let us know, and we will do exactly that. Caitlin right now is creeping around behind the back because I think she's getting super weird.
You don't see me.
Today we're talking about umbrellas. Specifically, we're talking about umbrella shapes. So deep umbrellas and shallow umbrellas, what they do and what you can expect from them. It's pretty simple, but still, I think when choosing an umbrella, you're trying to figure out, do I want to go the route of a shallow umbrella? Should I go with a deep umbrella? Now, when it starts getting up to certain sizes in the pro photo world, you only have the option of going with a deep umbrella. The shallow sizes are only for our small and medium lineup. So that's what we're doing today. We're sticking with mediums. I have a medium deep white umbrella here. I have a I also have a medium shallow umbrella here, and I'm going to hold those up here in just a second and show you the differences between the two. But we're using white today. That's what I had. Silver would be a little more, would show the effect a little bit more than what the white would, but I don't have that with me today. We're working with white. It's a little bit softer. It's a little bit smoother on the fall off. It's a little more forgiving. So just expect that. But that being said, let's talk about this, what the shape differences do and how it affects the light. So a deeper umbrella, such as this one right here, has a more of a scoop to it. It can take the light and focus it a little bit more than a shallow umbrella does, because just the way that the kind of light's gathered inside of the umbrella itself hits in there, and then it has all this travel to be directed in the place you want. So you have a lot more edge control with a deep umbrella as opposed to something like a shallow umbrella. That being said, too, that edge control is going to give you some ability to, again, keep the light right where you want it. And one of the other cool things about the deep umbrellas is that you can actually push the umbrella closer to the light source, like this, utilizing less of the material itself and giving you even tighter of a beam. So you actually have some zooming ability with a deeper umbrella that you're not necessarily going to have with the shallow. You'll have some. You can utilize different parts of it, but because of the way, or because of the shape of the shallow umbrella, you're still going to be utilizing a lot of the umbrella. So that being said, again, you have some zoomability with these things, which makes it really, really cool. And then whenever you have something like the silver umbrellas, especially in the deep line, you can really point the light out and focus it right where you want it, which is really, really fun. So it gives you a lot of flexibility with something as simple as an umbrella, which is really neat. So then I'm going to leave this up so you can see the visual difference between the two. And then you have the medium shallow umbrella. So the first thing is it doesn't have quite as many ribs. It's got about half the ribs. So you have 16 spines in there just to kind of help get that rounder, deeper shape. Whereas your shallow umbrella is going to have about 8. So it doesn't need to kind of scoop out as much as the deep umbrella does. That being said, whenever you hold them side by side, or when you hold them in a profile, you can actually see. I want to make sure that they can actually. Can you go to the wide shot, Kate?
Sure. Happy to.
Cool. I'm just trying to make sure. There we go. So you can kind of see the depth difference between the two. So this has, this is going to throw the light out a lot more than the deep umbrella is going to. So this is, your shallow umbrellas are going to be better for things where you need a lot of coverage. They do a really great job for helping you light a backdrop. So having, 2 lights shooting into a shallow umbrella like this on each side really gives nice even coverage across the backdrop. But again, if you need to throw the light really, really wide, your shallow umbrella is going to give you a lot more throw than your deeper umbrella is going to be. And it's designed that way on purpose. So also, fighting a little bit of a cold. I feel insanely nasally. So please forgive. So with that being said, again, we're going to take some photos so you can see the difference between the two. The chances are it's going to be a little more subtle, again, like I said, because we're using a white fabric. And again, white is a lot more forgiving than silver is. Silver has the tendency to actually point the light, and the white's going to feather it off and taper it off a lot more smooth.
And of course, you're speaking about the interior.
Yeah. When I'm talking about the color of the umbrella itself, I'm actually speaking about the interior fabric color. So if it was silver, this would be a reflective silver. but this is a white interior. So again, the white finish is a lot smoother, a lot more forgiving.
And friends, I'm mic'd today, so
Yes.
if you guys have any questions, please throw them our direction, and I will be able to hopefully clearly relay these information.
She'll be asking questions on mic.
Yeah,
so
crazy.
Had a couple people ask to throw a mic in front of her. So
I feel like I have so much power now.
Yeah, unfortunately. So
we do have one question though, and this is from Leo. Which pro photo flash do you suggest for a new Sony A9 III?
Any flash.
Any
It really depends. Leo, is that
Yeah,
was
Leo.
So it really depends, Leo, on what it is that you do. If you would
Pop it in the comments.
Yeah, throw in the comments. Just tell me what kind of photography you do. Like if you're mostly in studio or if you're mostly on the run, and I can throw some things at you that might give you some ideas of directions to go. But there's a lot of really good options. So that being said, we're going to shoot with the medium umbrella first. You ready to rock, Kate? With umbrellas, I really honestly with most lights, whenever you're photographing somebody, I like to try to keep the actual head itself above the nose line of the subject. So I could come down a little bit lower with Kate, but I just want to keep the light above the nose line. That way we don't have to worry about too much uplighting. You don't want it to look like a horror scene. So, but I'm going to try to keep it relatively low just because I want to make sure I get light into her eyes. Cool. We're shooting with just lighting reference wise. So we've talked a lot about the umbrellas that we're using. So we're using the deep medium white and the shallow medium white. Light, we're actually just using a B10X. So it's the 250 watt second version. And then triggering with a Connect Pro. And my camera is a GFX 100S because people always like to ask. So cool. Ready to rock, Kate?
Does a diffuser make any difference?
A diffuser would make a difference. We'll talk about that here in just a second and how a diffuser would actually change the light altogether. Cool. So I'm going to try to make sure I keep that light in the same position. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. So it's nice, even, smooth light. Again, something that you would expect from a white umbrella. Also, for some wacky reason, we noticed my laptop's throwing a pink tint onto the image. So not really sure what's happening with that today, but it's just apparently grumpy. So
I think it's for Valentine's.
Yeah, it's about it is. It's love.
Love.
Yeah.
There's lots of love happening here.
It missed it by about a week though.
Oh, that's okay.
It'll be pink next week too.
Okay.
It's just celebrating the whole month. Again, I apologize for the raspiness.
All right.
Cool.
So now we got.
Now we have the shallow white umbrella. Something I may do too here in just a second is I may throw the white umbrella back on. There we go. These new lights, the tensioning spot that holds the umbrella in place is much stronger. It's really nice. Cool. Also, pardon me. I'm just gonna little sipper.
Any questions?
Cool.
Leo says mostly portrait.
Mostly portraits. Indoor or outside, Leo? Tell me indoors or outs, and also let me know where you live. Just that way I can take that into consideration as well. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. So let's throw these two up together just to see if we can see a difference there. What I may have to do is switch to a wider lens just to get a better look. They're pretty similar. Again, I didn't expect there to be too dramatic of a difference between the. Let me pull this forward. It's also get it out of the glare of those lights. Let's see if I can see anything here. So coverage-wise, again, they're white umbrellas. They're the same size, so the smoothness and the coverage, or the smoothness of the effect, I expected just because again, the nice thing about white is it picks up reflections from everywhere and it blasts out of the light shaping tool really, really evenly. It's a lot of the times when someone's buying their first umbrella or something like that, I generally tend to send them in the white umbrella direction just because it's a lot more forgiving. And it's doing exactly what it is that I tell people to do all the time. I'm looking, what I may need to do for more of the effect is go to a wider lens. I think that's what we're going to do really fast.
While you're doing that, so Leo says that he shoots portraits mostly outside.
Cool. So you have a couple different options, Leo. So if portability is your thing and you're trying to keep stuff relatively compact, you can go with something like the A2. And right now there's actually a pretty sweet promotion going on with the A2 as well that will get you some like free light shaping tools with it. So that's always a nice little snag. Depending on where you live and what time of day you like to shoot, I would maybe consider going with something that that is a little heavier duty, something like a B10 or a B10X Plus. So it just depends. If you have a lot more control over your environment, if you're in a place where there's a lot of open shade where you could hide behind something, the A2 is great. If you're going to be in a place where you're battling sun nonstop, you may want to go with something a little heavier duty like a B10 or a B10X Plus. That way you have the ability to power up if you need. But the A2 still does a really, really phenomenal job.
He does have an A2.
Oh, perfect. So he already has an A2?
Yep.
Was he just asking about light shaping tools then, or was he asking about...
Which photo flashes do you suggest for new Sony A9?
Oh, your A2 for the A9 is great. If you have an A2, well, your A9 will be perfect. Just make sure you have a Sony remote. Cool. So I have a wider lens here, Kate. Yeah. I almost wonder too, let's do this. I'm actually going to put you closer to the backdrop.
Okay.
And I'm going to bring the light in closer just so let's do something like this.
Okay.
And we're going to see how the light affects the backdrop up close. I think this will probably be a little bit more telling. And we're gonna have the flash actually in the image for the shot. So I'm probably gonna have to power it down just a hair. Let me take a quick tester. 3, 2, 1. Whew! Way down.
Woo, she hot.
More time. Yeah, a touch more. Yeah, there we go. Now we're living. Though, I'm kind of pointed right into the light. I want to bring it around just so we're not flaring. Cool. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. So there is your shallow. Let's go with the deep. And also, while I'm doing the deep umbrella, I want to take one where I zoom in. So it's so you can see how you can point it a little bit more. Again, this is a white, so the effect probably isn't going to be super dramatic, but hopefully getting a little bit close to the background, you'll be able to tell. So this is zoomed out on the umbrella. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Cool. And then stay right there for a second.
Oh, sorry.
Just make sure that's not stabbing you.
No.
What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to pull this up and back a hair. So I'm going to have to power up just a touch, I think. That's one thing you have to look out for with the zooming, though. If you're super close, the umbrella shaft. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. So cool. Actually, you can see the difference there with the zoom.
Very nice.
So cool. So let me pull this out. Let's talk about this. And then if you have any questions, cool. If not, arrivederci. Let's see. Pull up these 3. Bop, bop, and bop. So coverage-wise, I can see if you look here, this has good even coverage with the shallow. If you start to pay attention here to where the hotspot is, the main hotspot, you can see here it's a lot more even as it tapers out, whereas there's a little bit more pronounced line of demarcation kind of right around here. I'm not sure if it's as easy. Oh yeah, it's actually you guys have more contrast than I do, so it's a little bit easier to see. That pink is throwing me. So you have a little bit more of a line of demarcation. So that is what I was talking about, how you have a little bit more edge control. Again, the white finish of the modifier is going to make it a lot more subtle. But then what's really, really cool is you can actually take, again, like I said, you could push the umbrella in tighter onto the flash itself, and you can start to point the light out, and you can really start to see how that light points out there. Really, really cool things that you can do with umbrellas. But these two right here are kind of what we were talking about first and foremost. And just seeing this way with the coverage and how this starts to kind of gradiate out a little bit faster, that's a lot more pointed, just shows you, even with something like a white interior on your umbrella, you're going to still have the same characteristics of what a shallow umbrella and a deep umbrella do, which is a shallow is going to throw the light a little bit wider. A deep umbrella is going to be able to give you a little bit more edge control. It's going to point the light out for you. And then the other cool thing, again, like I said, with the deep umbrella, is that you can actually use it to zoom. That effect will be dramatically increased with something like a silver finish. So, and maybe that's something that we'll touch on again here soon. Maybe we'll break out to like a medium white and silver, and that could really show you that effect. It's really fun.
John McLean wants to know where your light meter is at.
You know what, John? I was hoping you weren't here as I fired off like 4 test shots to get my light right. No meter today. My apologies. No meter today, John. Forgive me this time, please. That being said, any other questions?
I think we're good for today.
Cool. Again, I'm going to reiterate. I just need to get some water.
Oh, no.
Stand by.
Oh, man.
We're hurting today. Okay.
Check to see just in case.
So just to reiterate as we're signing off, a shallow umbrella is going to give you the ability to throw the light a lot wider. A deeper umbrella is going to give you more control, some more edge control, the ability to point the light more where you want it. We compared the exact same size umbrellas, the medium size, which I believe is 40, it's like 41 or 44 inches. I can't remember directly off the top of my head, but it's something in that ballpark. Same size umbrellas. The only thing that changed, same finish, the only thing that changed was the shape. We were able to get, by getting up a little bit closer to the backdrop, you were able to see a little bit more like what I was talking about with the effect of the wider throw of the shallow umbrella and the more pointed throw of the deep umbrella. So hopefully,
One.
yes, one more question.
Is there a soft umbrella without the shaft in the front so you can get closer to the subject with this shaft in the way?
So,
like in a hollow orb?
So someone's asking, also someone asked about the diffuser while ago, and I want to address that before we sign off now that I'm thinking about it. So if you need to get the umbrella closer to your subject, that's what a translucent umbrella is made for. My goodness, I'm so sorry. Whew.
Oh, no. John McLean says, well, soon.
Sorry about that, everybody. So a translucent umbrella is actually going to give you the ability to get closer to your subject. It's kind of one of the big features of the umbrella. So now the shaft's not pointed at the subject. You can flip it around. It's more of a direct light. Downside to a translucent is there's a tendency to get a hot spot because it is now a direct flash as opposed to an indirect of like a traditional umbrella, like a bounced in umbrella and bounce out. So you could go the translucent route. That's what I do whenever I'm in a tight quarters, or, if you need to get the light into like a corner or something like that, it's a good move. Diffusion changes, and we'll dive into diffusion another day, but just so you know, on the diffusion side, once you put a diffuser, so right now on the umbrella, the actual light source is in here inside the umbrella. So wherever the light is hitting the umbrella, that's the source. Once you put a diffusion panel over the front of it, the source becomes the diffusion panel, and it's right there at the edge. So the light between a shallow and a deep are essentially the same. So hopefully that quickly answered that before my throat falls out of my body. So cool. Are we good to go?
I think we're good.
Awesome. Thank you all for hanging out with us today. Super fun. Again, scratchy throat. My apologies, but we still powered through. If you have any questions, if there's anything that you want to see, anything that you want us to tackle, let us know. Reach out to us. DM me, DM ProPhoto. We'll throw it on the schedule. We'll have fun with it. In the meantime, I hope you have an awesome rest of your week. See you next time. Peace out, everybody.